a provisional organ called the Hawaiian Kingdom Government, an acting government, in 1995. This individual, and then it's a paper tiger, just went on and talked. You know, there's no enforcement, there's nothing. Started to expose the situation. Well, this one individual named Lance Larson, he decides to test the theory of the law of occupation. He's in Hilo, he lives in Hilo, takes off his driver's license plate, safety sticker, everything, jumped in his truck and drove around Hilo to get a ticket, and more tickets, and more tickets. What he thought in his mind was he's going to have them answer the question. So when he goes to the court, the district court, he's going to pose the question: show me how Hawaii is a part of the United States. Because if you can't show me a treaty, then I have to follow Hawaiian law. If I don't, I'm committing treason. If you can show me the treaty, then I'll follow American law. That's all he did. And he was actually represented by an attorney. Well, 2 judges recused themselves in that case. The last judge, Judge Sandra Shuri, was left on a totem pole. And she basically refused to listen to anything he said and fined him like $900. It's all in the court records in the Hague, the Netherlands. His attorney was trying her best, but to no avail. And then the judge asked him, "Are you going to pay this?" He said, "No, you didn't show me the treaty." That's what I thought. So she locked him up for 30 days, 7 days solitary confinement. That created an international issue because now he violated liberty under the Hague Convention. So his attorney came after us and filed a complaint in the federal court against the acting government and the United States government, and wanted the court to protect her client. And he's in Samuel King's court. The attorney then finds out that and it's fully explained in the book that comes with the DVD. The attorney finds out that the U.S. District Attorney is going to move to dismiss the case, and get it off the docket. So she immediately dismisses them off the case so they can't touch it. She comes to us and says, "You're still liable for not protecting my client." Her claim against us, we didn't protect them. And we said, we're responsible, but we're not liable. I mean, we assume these positions in an acting way. But we're not liable, but we're responsible. The United States is the one liable. So we entered into an agreement to transfer the jurisdiction of the court from the federal court, enter into arbitration into the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague. And Judge Sam King signed off on it. Stipulation of agreement. It leapfrogged to the World Court. Now when it went to the World Court, they were shocked. They were, "What's going on here?" They couldn't deny in the World Court the plaintiff's complaint against the acting government for not protecting them. So it wasn't about getting independence. It was about having our independence being violated all these years, and now we have a situation where this guy's trying to sue the acting government for not protecting them. Now we're going to let The Hague consider this under international law. So what the court came out and did, oral hearings were set in December. What they did was they said that according to what is called the indispensable third-party rule, what that means is Lance Larson was going after the acting government for not protecting him, but it wasn't the acting government that arrested him and incarcerated him. It was the United States government. So for Lance Larson to maintain his suit against the acting government, he needed the United States as an indispensable third party to maintain his suit. So the court did was it verified Hawaii explicitly to be an independent state, but it said it can't move on this particular dispute to hold the acting government accountable until the United States gets involved. So we were the defendants, and an arbitration award was issued in our favor. Lance Larson couldn't sue the acting government for not protecting him until they get the U.S. involved. So after that hearing, after that award was given, we decided to represent Lance Larson. So we said, well, at first the attorney said, "Well, you're still liable. And we can come under what is called the Fact-Finding Commission of Inquiry," another process in the Netherlands, in The Hague, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, where the third-party rule may not apply, just to look at the liability of the acting government. So as that agreement was signed, where we asked the court to be reconstituted into a Fact-Finding Commission of Inquiry, I went ahead and I wanted to test what just came out of the court, the arbitration award that verified Hawaii to be an independent state. One thing I wanted to test, let's go to the UN Security Council. In the UN Security Council, according to the United Nations Charter, it says that not just member states, but non-member states can file a complaint against a member. Hawaii is a non-member state. We're not part of the United Nations. That was created in 1945. But we're a state, an independent state. I want to test it. Now, by the way, let me back up and say, the court had to look at our status as the acting government before they could accept the case going on. So they looked into it before, and it fit under necessity. We met all the criteria. And Lance Larson met all the criteria of being a national, the Hawaiian Kingdom. You know, that they checked everything. Now, I wanted to go to the UN Security Council to see if I can file this complaint as a non-member state. And I want to wait till a country is there that cannot accept a complaint without political retaliation, meaning they'll be hesitant. See, that's the ones you want to test your stuff on. The ones who won't accept it so eagerly. Yeah? So I'm going to wait till China steps into that seat, and that was in July of 2001. That's when Taiwan was blowing up, you know, everything. China would not entertain a complaint from us because it looks like Hawaii's a 58th state. And if they did enter the complaint of Hawaii trying to become an independent state, under the theory, that gives them a green light for America to now mess with Taiwan. So we know China would not step up too quickly. So I called the Chinese permanent mission when I was up in New York. I said, hi, my name is Keanu Sai. I'm here to file a complaint against the United States as a non-member state, Article 33 of the UN Charter. You know, normal response. What? No, you're in the wrong place. Yeah, can I talk to your legal advisor? Ms. Wu jumps on the line. She jumps on from the Security Council office. She says, hi, I'm Ms. Wu. Can I help you? I said, hi, I'm David Keanu Sai. I'm here to file a complaint on behalf of the acting government against the United States. Let me continue. So I started to talk, and then she interrupted me. She said, no, you're in the wrong place. She said, you should be in the Committee of 24, which is on decolonization in the General Assembly. I said, no, we're not trying to be decolonized. We're an occupied state. We already have independence. It says we're independent, we're occupied, and we're filing a complaint. And then she got quiet. And I started to explain the history of Hawaii. And as soon as I started to mention who the arbitrators were in the case, she knew exactly what I was talking about. She says, this is how you file a complaint under Article 33. So she directed me to the Security Council, was all logged in. And I'm just putting on the record exposure and education. For me personally, I just want to see if I could open the door. That's all, just testing the waters. We didn't ask them to do anything, just recommendations, whether you give it or not. That's what we wanted to do. Now, a member of a Swiss law firm in Geneva, Switzerland, wrote an article in the Chinese Journal of International Law about that complaint filed with the UN Security Council. He double-checked it. It was filed. It's just that the United States didn't act upon it. Well, I blame myself partly because we didn't ask them to really act upon it. We're now getting prepared to activate and amend that complaint in order to get intervention by the United Nations Security Council based on what has just been accepted by the United Nations since 2001, the Articles of State Responsibility for International Wrongful Acts. It addresses the Achilles heel of international law called enforcement. How do you enforce a violation? That's going to be taking place. So the first thing I needed to do, coming back, let me back up. Here's another thing. There's another way to bring it to the attention of the United Nations, a violation of international law of this magnitude, where a member can submit it to the United Nations General Assembly. This is the Security Council. That's what I did. At the World Court case, after the last hearing, we received a call from the Rwandan ambassador, from Rwanda assigned to Brussels, Belgium. Called us up in The Hague, wanted to meet with us in Brussels. We went there after the last day of hearings. We meet in this little cafe, coffee shop, just us, doors locked, everything, shades down. And he says, I have important information for you. He says, my president has just authorized the Foreign Affairs Department, the Foreign Ministry, through me to notify you that Rwanda is prepared to report Hawaii's prolonged occupation to the General Assembly. I was like, whoa. Because he said, and this was their reasoning, international law, the violation of international law cannot continue. Because he was speaking about Rwanda and the Hutus and the Tutsis genocide. And he said the international community did not step in until too late. He says it can't be tolerated, and we feel confident that this needs to be addressed. And then what I basically told him was, what you folks read in the pleadings in The Hague and the court, it's very legal. It's straight up like what you folks saw here. But I said, our people back home do not know this information. So I cannot put Rwanda in a position of representing Hawaii before the United Nations when Hawaii itself can't even stand up because they don't know anything. And that's why we decided, after filing the complaint with the Security Council, I'm heading over to the University of Hawaii Political Science Department to get my PhD and start that exposure.
So basically you're saying that you tried two